Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to you to our POPIA webinar series number 8 webinar. As always, my name is Lettie, Janse van Vuuren, and I will be your facilitator for the next 90 minutes or 2 hours. Can you all hear me clearly? Let's just do a quick sound check before we start. If you can hear me clearly, either raise your little hand or you can just type a message into the chat pod on your right-hand bottom side of the screen. I see quite a couple of new names this morning, so very warm welcome to all of you. Okay, sound is great. Wonderful. Remember, if you have any problems with the sound during the webinar, please send a chat through. We've got Jeremiah online and she will be able to assist you with that. Tell you whether it's on your side or our side or anything like that. Okay. Wonderful. Right. So let's get started. Okay, so our webinar for today will be on, it's part 2 of the 8 conditions of compliance of POPIA. That's what our webinar is all about. Let's just run through the logistics and then I'll go through the actual agenda with you. Right, that says I almost said biography, sort of a marketing blurb. Just a little bit of background on where I am, who I am, what I do, and so on. You'll see that mostly I do the training and the webinar hosting. And then I also do a lot of consulting for audit and accounting firms. Right. Doing a lot now in terms of people needing assistance on visits from SAICA and from URBA and quality monitoring reviews and things like that. Right. But other than that, I'm at SAAA. I'm responsible for the monthly compliance and legislation updates. And that is used now by quite a number of professional bodies. So you'll see that our slides no longer contain any logos, and that's because it's used by all the different professional bodies. Let's look at what's on the agenda for today. We're going to start with a quick recap to see where did we end well for the previous webinar, just what did we cover. Because this is part of the webinar series, I like to have that continuity just to say, okay, well, last time we did this, and then right at the end, we've also got what's next, okay, in terms of the contents. We then have the 4 modules, and the 4 modules are presented by our guest presenters. All right, Karabo will be presenting module 1 and 2, and Stephanie will be presenting modules 3 and 4. So module 1 is just a little bit of a recap on the role of the information officer. I am seeing that this is increasingly important. The information officer really is the one that's got to be accountable at the end of the day, and everything falls squarely on their shoulders. So remember that after today's webinar, because we've had 2 webinars now, we've got another one early April. We've had our one for March, which we would have had next week. We're having today. And then we've got another topic which is open. We've got a day allocated in May. I think it's on the 6th of May. And we can still slot in a topic there. So if you have any suggestions for that specific webinar, please let me know what you would want to include in there specifically, because if you give me little bits and bobs, if you say to me, we want more on actions that the information officer must take, or give us a Word document, which is a checklist that we can use and we can give to our clients to use, you can do that. Okay, request it. You can use the chat pod today, and then I'll sift through that. All right. So that's on the agenda for today. Just something that I found while I was doing the research as well on this topic, dealing with the last 4 conditions of POPIA. Remember that the conditions of POPIA, all of it refers to the lawful processing, not legal, it's lawful processing of information. You've got to comply with all 8 of these conditions. Otherwise, you are not legally processing the information within the confines of POPIA. All right. So the little picture I've got at the top says data is like water, neglect its quality and fear the indigestion. Because data quality and information quality is one of our key conditions for today. That's quite important as well. All right, so I thought that's very important. Water is like life, and your data is like it as well. And quality of water, without quality of water, you can't do anything with it. Okay, if you are unable to boil it or whatever, you can't drink it. And water is life. Okay, and then we've got our little cartoons at the bottom. The woman says to the friend, information security is a big deal at my office. So sometimes we have to communicate in code. We have 37 different symbols for the word jerk. All right. And this little man says, I sent my bank details and social security number in an email, but I put private financial info in the subject line, so it should be safe. Yeah, right. Gone are those days. Okay. Nowadays, if hackers see the word private or financial or information, they gun for those. Right. So, just looking very briefly at where we ended off last time. Remember, our focus last time was on the first 4 conditions of POPIA. We started off with just a quick confirmation of the who and the what of POPIA. Once again, revisiting some of the important definitions, looking at what does it mean to process, what is included in personal information, what do you need to worry about. And remember, we came to the conclusion where we said the personal information that we have to protect is not just our own, it's not just our clients. It is in your capacity as a person living in a world. So it's in your capacity as an individual, as a consumer. You have information that's out there. You leave your digital footprints, it's out there, your emails, your bank details, your this, your that, everything. Medical information, right? Cell phone numbers, ID numbers, you name it. It's out there. Then we've also got you in your capacity in your organization, in your employing organization. So wherever you are employed, you deal with data there. And your data is dealt with by your employer. They've got your employment data. Right. Criminal records, employment history, performance measurement, everything, salary records, everything is in there. Even your bank details, tax numbers. And then we've got you dealing with your client's information. So remember that when we talk about personal information, we're talking about it on those 3 levels. Your client's information, your own information within your organization, and then your personal information in your capacity as an individual, just normal living. Okay. Still in the pandemic, but yes, you still have a lot of personal information. So the first 4 conditions of POPIA that we looked at last month was accountability. Now remember, you can still delegate some tasks, but accountability you cannot delegate. The buck stops with somebody. Somebody has got to be accountable. Right, and then there's processing limitation. We also looked at purpose specification and then further processing limitations. All right, so a lot of the focus was on the processing of the information last month. And then we also looked at common challenges, specifically in data privacy, or privacy as some people pronounce the word, and then looking at compliance solutions. All right, within the confines of practical solutions, how do you do that? Because I've long since realized that I do not have the know-how to actually come up with the proper solutions. I can tell you what the Act says and what the practicalities are of what the solutions must be, but I can't go and make sure that it's backed up to a server where I can have access to my data at the drop of a hat at any point in time. All right. So that's what's on the agenda for today. So remember that once again, we're dealing with the last 4 conditions of compliance today to POPIA. There are 8 in total. We've dealt with the first 4. We're now dealing with the last 4. and Karaba will take you through the first four in detail. Just remember that the conditions of compliance refer to what? Lawful processing of information.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.